Schmeisser S60 mags. The reviews are all over the place. So what's the deal with that? Well, I got one, and I'm going to buy more of them because that is how well this magazine has worked for me. So I'm going to share the trick. If you go around looking at reviews, they're going to be hit and miss. And recently I showcased this rifle, and somebody instantly pointed out that they got a shot Schmeisser, and it didn't work for them. So here's the thing. Fun little fact about this. This is a 60 round mag, and it loads to 65. Well, why isn't it advertised then as a 65? Why isn't it called the S65 instead of the S60? Probably because Schmeisser does not want you loading this all the way to 65, right? Because if they wanted to stand by their product while it was getting loaded to that capacity, they would probably slap a 5 on there and make money off of it, right? I mean, that just makes your magazine better than your competitors by just even that much more. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep it at 60, right? So why would they make it so that you can fit 65 rounds in here? Well, look at this giant monster spring, right? You're going to have to break that thing in somehow. And anybody that thinks that you should just be able to take something special like this right off the shelf and just have it work flawlessly, no, you're going to have to actually work a little bit to get the performance that this can give you, right? We're all familiar with magazines having to be broken in, right? Now with normal mags, like, mag pulls, you can get those to work off the wall. It's a simple spring system. They have it down pretty well. And you can get magazines like that, and they're going to work straight out of the pack, of course, right? But they don't have these giant massive springs like this thing does. This is a dual spring design. So you have somewhat of your standard magazine spring up here, and it's cut down, right? And then you have this giant spring. And if you really think about it, how are you going to break in this giant spring? Well, you would have to overload this spring so that its maximum pressure would go down when it is decompressed. And how do we do that? Well, we overload it. So I think that is the reason, German engineering in this thing, that is the reason why they left room for you to cram in 5 more rounds. So do that. Break the spring in. I mean, you know what? I might as well just tell you guys everything that I did. I opened this thing up. I examined it. I checked it all out. I took my spring out, looked at it. I oiled it. I put everything back in the way that it was. And then I overloaded this to the max, right? You're going to want something like this. A little, what is this? A Tula loader. Because working with a spring like that and actually trying to hand load something like this, it's not going to be that pleasant, especially after you get to, like, the 40th round. So this, with this, something like this, any kind of loader, you should be able to load this up to 65, 64, something like that, and then leave it alone for about a month, right? Wait, give it some time to break in, and then make sure to unload about, I don't know, 5 or 6 of the shots and plug and play from there. It should work. Mine worked flawlessly. I don't know, I've put hundreds of rounds through it already, and I haven't had one hiccup. So that's what I did with mine. I did say that if I could get this magazine to work, I would order more of them, just because I think it's such a huge advantage to overcome having to rock and lock an AK mag in a bad situation, right? I think that is one of the biggest weak points of the AK platform, just personally, right? And this, well, this really helps you overcome it, especially if you can get something like this to work for you. So I plan to do the same exact thing with the next one that I get, and I plan to have great results, right? I think these things are just awesome, especially for the price, okay? These from Magpul, these are amazing drums, but they're like $140. Right now you can get them for $100 on Cheaper Than Dirt, and these things work, but you're still dropping $100 a piece on them. That's when they're on sale. These things are like 50, $55, $60, something along the lines of that. Much more affordable, right? So, yeah, I think there's a break-in that a lot of people aren't doing. But at the same time, I've seen people review this thing and they couldn't even fully load it. They could only get about 40 rounds into it, and they had issues with it. I don't know why they even reviewed it at that point. If you can't load it to the max because you didn't get one of these, you shouldn't be reviewing the damn thing yet, right? Anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you want to support my work, I don't know, hit like, maybe sub, right? I don't get paid for any of this shit. I don't get anything sent for free. This is all mine, oh mine, and I am ordering more. That should tell you something. Later, everybody.